All right. So where the last video left off was with Descartes claiming that there's no way that we can know whether we're asleep or awake. So we can't tell if we're dreaming and everything in our world is just a dream or if this is reality. This is the idea called dream skepticism, and it can be a powerful tool and has been in the history of philosophy. So we'll pick up where we left off. Suppose then that I'm dreaming and that these particulars, that my eyes are open, that I'm moving my head and stretching out my hands are not true. Perhaps indeed I do not even have such hands or such a body at all. Nonetheless, it must surely be admitted that the visions which come in sleep are like paintings, which must have been fashioned in the likeness of things that are real, and hence that at least these general kinds of things, eyes, heads, hand, and the body as a whole, are things which are not imaginary, but are real and exist. So Descartes here is pointing out that, hey, even if everything is a dream, right? Maybe, I have these ideas of hands and eyes and bodies. Those have to come from somewhere. They must really come from real eyes and hands and bodies. But then he considers an objection to this. For even when painters try to create sirens and satyrs with the most extraordinary bodies, they cannot give them natures which are new in all respects. They simply jumble up the limbs of different animals. Or if perhaps they manage to think up something so new that nothing remotely similar has ever been seen before, something which is therefore completely fictitious and unreal, at least the colors used in the composition must be real. So here Descartes is saying, look, even when artists think up things that are completely new, like sirens and satyrs, they're using chunks of things that exist, right? And they're stacking them together to build these new things. And even if we break it down further and we don't want to accept that, we have to at least accept that the colors are what artists use to put things together. By similar reasoning, although these general kinds of things, eyes, head, hands, and so on, could be imaginary, it must at least be admitted that certain other even simpler and more universal things are real. These are, as it were, the real colors from which we form all these images of things, whether true or false, that occur in our thought. Okay? So where he's coming back around and he's saying, okay, maybe the pieces of things aren't the smallest unit that they're built out of, but certainly they must be built out of color, right, and shape. And he goes on to give us a little bit more here about this. This class appears to include corporeal nature in general and its extension, the shape of extended things, the quantity or size and number of these things, the place in which they may exist, the time through which they may endure, and so on. So this is maybe a confusing passage here if you're not used to the language that Descartes using. But when he's talking about corporeal nature, he's talking about the stuff that things are made of. So the mouse is made of plastic. The corporeal nature of the mouse is that it's hard plastic, right? And that things take up shape, that things have size, that things are in a particular place. These things must actually exist in reality. So a reasonable conclusion from this might be that physics, astronomy, medicine, and all other disciplines which depend on the study of composite things are doubtful, while arithmetic, geometry, and other subjects of this kind, which deal only with the simplest and most general things, regardless of whether they really exist in nature or not, contain something certain and indubitable. For whether I'm awake or asleep, 2 and 3 added together are 5, and a square has no more than 4 sides. It seems impossible that such transparent truths should incur any suspicion of being false. So, what Descartes' done is continue to question and break things down, right? And he said, look, maybe the conclusions of physics or astronomy or medicine or all disciplines which require the study of composite things, maybe these can still be doubtful, but look, arithmetic, geometry, and other subjects of this kind, we can't doubt those because we can't doubt that 2 and 2 equal 4, can we? And so this is another interesting question to ask ourselves. The truths of mathematics, that 2 plus 2 equal 4, that a triangle has 180 degrees in it, can we doubt these truths? Well, we're going to pause here, and then we'll move on to the next video.